There are sometimes Declan Rice wins the ball, has an easy pass to make forward, but sometimes he chooses to keep it for 1 second before making the pass. He has shown for me as a player, I'm watching him, I'm seeing a player that is mature, that is smart, that is strong, and that is durable. The game of the week, Arsenal are home to Manchester United. This game is a game that has huge history between these two teams. Each time they meet is always a big fixture in English football. Be you a Man United fan or Arsenal fan, even if you're not a fan of either of these teams, is a fixture that everybody likes to watch. It comes with history. It comes with a lot of key moments in the past, and it has continued to. Though these two giants of English football in the last decade or more have not been at the top of the pinnacle of English league, but somehow they're beginning to pick themselves up. So this one has always looked to be very, very intriguing and an important game for both teams, because you need to keep touch with the top of the league as soon as you can and stay there, because once you begin to see those gaps come between you and whoever that is on top, it's difficult to close those gaps. And we saw this game, and it came exactly with the expectation, with the excitement, with the intrigue, with lots of moments and events that, talking points as usual. United came into this one looking like, as many have said, Nottingham Forest with a pragmatic approach, that they sat back, had their low blocks, and 2-2, they played a lot of their attacking players in a deep row, tried to hit Arsenal on the counter. We seem to have worked. They got their goal early. Arsenal, of course, we know, responded in less than 1 minute. And from then on, the game took a different dimension. So I know you guys, so everybody watch this game this weekend. Let's have a few talking points about the game. I made my notes, and let's start with United. Like I mentioned I said a few moments ago, United came in. I always knew that they're going to sit back and try to hit Arsenal in the counter, but the way they were set up was way, way deeper than everybody expected. I saw Eriksen playing very deep. For the first time, I saw Bruno Fernandes playing very deep in the midfield. Anthony on the other side was doubling with Wan-bissaka on Saka. And, it was a very, very negative approach from United in this game. Rashford, on the other hand, was doubling on the other side with the left back, Dallo, on Martinelli. So he was, I don't know, as an Arsenal fan, how did you see this game?
Then as an Arsenal fan, me?
Yes.
That's an excellent question again. I think we've started the season I think our confidence has been low starting the season, and I think it's due to tactics with Mikel Arteta, with Mikel Arteta switching things up, especially with a few injuries. I know that Zinchenko was out, so he had to put Timber. Timber got knocked out, so he had to put Tomiyasu there. I think what really slowed us down was Thomas Partey at right back. I understood why he did it, because he wants to play that inverted role. He wants to, overload the midfield. So that's why he placed Thomas Partey in the midfield. But you could see that it wasn't flowing right, and that was affecting the confidence. So this game this weekend, I think it was, sad to say Partey had to drop out of the team due to injury. That's when we looked a bit more balanced, especially in the back, with Zinchenko back and then putting Ben White out at the right back position. We looked way more balanced. And just the way the game panned out for us, it was a last minute winner that took us there, and the emotions were high. I think we needed a game like this to get our confidence back up. And now that we have, as I said, Partey is not in the lineup anymore. Now that we have the back a bit more balanced now, I think this should be the springboard for us in terms of the next few weeks, where the tactics should be coming together now. The confidence should be there, and we should be making a push towards City. I know City is the big dog on the block, but I think this game should be the springboard for the next few weeks for us to put some wings together and get our confidence even higher.
Yeah, Ugum, a lot of people, especially Arsenal fans, have criticized Mikel Arteta for playing, like Nicholas mentioned, playing Thomas Partey the right back and insisting on using Kai. So a lot of people said he was doing that to have space for Kai Havertz in the team. But watching that game yesterday, something I noticed, I was thinking I was present on the game, and I said, one thing we have everybody has refused or forgot or missed to mention was that we didn't have Zichenko fit to start any game for Arsenal. We didn't have Gabriel Jesus to start, and uh, maybe because of this or whatever reason it was, Gabriel was not starting. These three players were very, very key members, key aspects, key elements of what Arsenal did last season. So when I was watching the game yesterday, seeing Zichenko help us have control of this game in the midfield, the way he usually inverts from the left, and uh, Gabriel coming back in the defense, which gives Zichenko confidence to go forward because he knows that Gabriel is going to be there to cover him if probably we turn on possession. So were you able to find, or do you think there was any big issue as to how fluid Arsenal was yesterday because they had these three players?
You hit the nail on the head. Unfortunately, a lot of people just watch the game and just look for something to criticize. People don't want to think rationally and actually try to figure out why the coach is doing what he's doing. They've criticized the hell out of Mikel Arteta for everybody's claiming that he's shoehorning Kai Havertz into the side. Um, and I think that even if he's shoehorning Havertz, I support him to shoehorn Havertz until Havertz, gets into the side and learns how how Arsenal plays and gets integrated in the game. Let me address your point first. Exactly, and my guy just said the same. What's his name again?
Nicholas.
Nicholas.
Nicola.
Nicholas said the same thing. Zinchenko wasn't playing, so we needed to invert from the right. We needed a solid midfielder that could control. But then, with that midfielder gone, we needed to play more center backs across. Right? You say that Ben White is a natural center back. Um, this guy
Saliba.
also,
Saliba.
Saliba, and then he played either Kivio or what's his name
Tomiyasu.
again? Tomiyasu, right? As the left fullback. So we played to cover Partey whenever he went into the midfield in order to be able to control the games. That's what this guy was trying to do because of Zinchenko's absence. Zinchenko came back. Unfortunately, we also lost Partey in
And
the
Dream
same
Timber.
game. I doubt whether he would have played Partey in that game if he was fit because of this reason. Because when you have Zinchenko playing and Rice there, and you want to play Havertz, then one person has to sit while the others play, right? So we'll find out when Partey recovers. We'll see how he plays it. But yeah, um, I want to mention Kai Havertz. There's been a lot of criticism of this dude. I sat down and watched that game again on Sunday, and I fixed my attention on Kai Havertz. And the kind of defensive work that guy did in the game against United, please, anybody that wants to watch the game to go watch it again and see, right? He did a lot of very valuable defensive work, but still got into scoring positions. Now, he missed his kick altogether. Yes, you can criticize that. Yes, that happens to players. That hardly happens to very technical players.
Saka
Unfortunately,
missed a worse one, and nobody is saying anything about it.
yeah. Unfortunately, the guy is very low on confidence because the Arsenal fans are on. He reads
His back.
what happens to social media, and even some of the fans in the stadium when he gets the ball, they are groaning, they are frowning. People are not giving him the confidence he
Chance.
needs to play. But the guy is fighting. I see a fighter there. I don't see a guy that's hiding. If
Holding.
he's hiding, he would never get into the positions that he's gotten into to score goals. It just hasn't clicked for him to put the ball in the net. But so If he's putting his shift in the midfield and getting into scoring positions, I'm okay with that, right? I know that the goals will come when they come, but we need this guy to get integrated because we spent a lot of money on him. The coach wants to get him integrated into the side as soon as possible so they can use his qualities to help the side, you know. So Arsenal fans should just back off and try and support this guy, give him a few run of games, give him confidence, and then we take it from there. When they removed him and brought in Fabio Vieira, there was a change, of course. Fabio Vieira introduced more dynamism, more speed, and all that. But people are already calling for Fabio to start the next game and keep Havertz on the bench. Drop Havertz now and start the Fabio. You will see the whole place will be open and the opponent will score and people start shouting, drop Fabio, and bring in somebody else. That's how fans are. So if you're winning games and you're solid and teams are not penetrating anyhow, keep playing the guys that are securing the side and they go and you're scoring one or two goals and you're winning.
Ogun, let me ask you a question. I grew up watching Wenger and Fergie dominate the EPL. And I always know that when they sign new players to their team, they always take their time to ease them into the team. Sometimes Wenger would keep you on the bench for 6 months. Fans would be calling for. In fact, sometimes I even forgot that we signed a player. By the time he starts playing, I said, "Oh, that's true. I remember when we signed this guy." Don't you think that Arteta should have? I know as a manager, he was under pressure already signing Kai Havertz. Don't you think he should have left the guy out of the team? Because in preseason, I saw him as somebody that's been involved in this game. I know his qualities. I didn't understand the signing, but I could see what he can bring to the team. But still, in the preseason games, he didn't stand out. He missed chances as well, and there were questions about what he was bringing to the team. I expected Arteta at the beginning of the season to leave him on the bench for a few games, start him as a sub, bring him in as a sub, play the players that have been used to the system. He can be on the bench, watch them on real match situation, understand how the people in those positions that he's going to play are playing. Then, so when he goes in, it's easy for him to replicate what the person that came out, was doing and even improve on it. Don't you think it's a wrong approach by Arteta to try to force Kai Havertz into a new style of play, considering the pressure that the young man already is on?
I don't think so. Two reasons. First reason is that Arteta isn't playing exactly how he played last season, right? He knows why he spent 60 something million to buy this guy. If you're going to spend that kind of money on a player, you must have a solid plan for the player, right? You must have a plan that fits the player's certain qualities. Otherwise, you're not going to spend that kind of money. So my belief is that Arteta devised tweaked his strategy a little bit with the aim of getting this guy, knowing what the guy will bring to the table. That's number one. Number two is that we lost one of our most important players last season in Wan-bissaka. We lost him to Germany. The hole that he left, I don't see any other person in that Arsenal squad right now that could have filled that position that Wan-bissaka left. In terms of continuity of play, in terms of defensive effort, in terms of balance, especially with the left foot. Think about it very well. Emil Smith-Rowe cannot do it. Fabio Vieira is way too offensive, doesn't have the balance needed in that position, right? It's a combination of 8, 10, and 6, right? Somebody that puts in a defensive effort and still gets closer to the 18-yard box to create chances for others in transitions and in continuity of play. Who else? You wouldn't play, if you put Declan Rice there, you are not using Declan Rice well enough. Declan Rice is a central defensive midfielder that should be all over the pitch, adding value, right? You cannot play Thomas Partey there. You cannot play Jorginho there. So now I see, even when we bought Havertz, my conviction was that he was bought for the right wing. to support Bukayo Saka. But now I'm watching the games and I'm seeing, because of his left foot and because he can pass the ball really well, he can shield the ball, control the ball very well, help with transition passes. Now I see why Ateta spent that kind of money on the guy. And when you've done that, there's no time. Shaka is not there. If Shaka was there, you say, okay, he will study Shaka.
Okay,
Shaka is
well,
not there to,
let me
you
ask
know.
you a question. So if Kai Havertz goes home now, goes to Germany and come back injured, does it mean Arsenal will not play the game against Everton? And who would
No,
Ateta deploy in that role?
no, they will. When that happens, then the person that Ateta is deploying in that role isn't the ideal person for Ateta. No, yeah, of course, things will
The
happen.
reason why I asked that question is now I understand what you're saying. I hear you. Kai Havertz helped out defensively. He also does offensively. Offensively, he has not really been effective right now. Probably his runs has opened up space here.
He's been effective apart from scoring goals. That's the
Scoring
only
goals,
way.
yes, but he hasn't had any assists. Probably he has made some runs that opened up one or two things. So defensively, the Cavaliers can do what he's doing for us. Going forward, he's not really stood out. So that's what I'm saying. It's not possible for Teta to take him out of the radar right now, give him some red, let him sit on the bench and see the game from that perspective, and then reintroduce him into the game. I know that doing that now, I'm talking about in the beginning of the season, doing that now might probably drop the guy's confidence even further and he might never recover from it. But I see it as a mistake by Arteta because I've seen great coaches do it, sign you. They don't care. Ferguson, as a winger, they don't care how much they sign you for. They don't. They hardly.
I strongly disagree. I mean, those guys that you're talking about had major players in the squad that they could afford to sit a signing, for 6 months, right? Arteta doesn't have that luxury. There are no major players that he will sit Havertz down after paying this amount of money. He is, apart from Declan Rice, he's our highest scorer. You buy that kind of player straight from a team like Chelsea, and you sit him down for 6 months to study. Nah, I mean,
Okay,
I don't.
okay.
Yeah, I mean
Okay,
that's my
I hear you. I
opinion.
hear you. Chima, I
Yeah.
wanted you to talk about United on this one, but before we go to United, talk about Declan Rice as a rival fan watching from outside. I don't know if you've watched a lot of the Arsenal games this season, seeing him perform. What's your opinion now? I know when Arsenal signed Declan Rice, a lot of rival fans were saying that he's overpriced, he's overrated, he's overhyped, he's usually English player hype and stuff like that. Now, having seen him play for us now, what have you made of Declan Rice?
Yeah, thank you. Before I go to rights, let me speak on what Ogum was saying. Ogum, in as much as I don't have the covering to speak on Arsenal because I believe that my speaking in this Arsenal situation, some people might see it as
No,
but to be candid with you, when you say that the amount a player was bought, and all things you expanded on about Kai, do you know that Pep bought Greenish £100 million and benched him for almost close to 6 months because he wasn't he wasn't at the level of what he expected from him. Major, matured and top coaches make top decisions. You cannot, because you bought a player $65.
$65 million.
Now, 65 pounds. Now you want to force it, whether it is working or not. You want to force it through the throat of fans, the teammates, and the league, just to prove a point. The only reason he has not been crucified, the coach, is because at the end of the day, he finds a way to win.
Win the game.
Yeah. If some of these games that Kai Havertz will have a clear chance and he will not score, and eventually Arsenal loses those games, Hayes would have been let loose. I'm telling you, immediately he was changed. The guys that came in converted. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that I'm not saying I don't want to go overkill on him, but what I'm saying is that, and again, he was bought from Chelsea. It's not like he was that spectacular in Chelsea. You say, okay, this is a player that was bought from Chelsea with all his exploits, his engagement. It's true. He works very, very hard. He's a workaholic. I love what he puts in. But the most important thing is the reason for which he was bought. If you are, although this guy is losing clear chances, like clear chances that other players will convert. If he loses all those chances, and at the end of the day, Arsenal loses those matches, we will not be talking. Well, you will not say, well, if there's no other player. And let me even tell you, it's true that Saka left.
Xhaka.
Will you
Xhaka, yeah.
yeah, will you in all honesty bench Jesus for Kai? Gabriel Jesus for Kai? Do you know that if it were to be Kai that had that last chance, that boy, he would have shot it on that defender's body? Reggie, remember I told you that I get impressed when with Jesus game. There is something he brings in for Arsenal. He brings this aggression. He brings in motivation. He brings in
Before you go to Jesus, talk about Declan Rice.
Yeah, I'm just trying to pick. Declan Rice is another very, very fantastic player. See that goal he scored. If you watch, he didn't kick that ball very well. But he didn't, if you watch him again, immediately he controlled that ball. It was like a last toe, almost at the end tail of his toe. Some players will want to either, because they were not balanced properly, they want to pass. But because, he is a good buy for Arsenal. He is a very good buy. He moves forward. You see him majority of the times. You see him in the 18 yards, but he adds to the number of players that to create more chances for his team to score. You see what I'm saying? So I am very impressed. I'm very impressed with Arsenal, but I'm very impressed with Arsenal. I'm very impressed with what Rice brings for Arsenal. The only thing I'm saying is that if the coach is forcing this player and the result is not coming out, there will be a lot of tension in the dressing room.
Yeah, Declan Rice. Again, in this game, I took my time and really watched the guy. There are some things in football that wins you the game. And these are some of the things the South American teams used to use to punish African teams and even European teams. I saw some of those nastiness in Declan Rice. There are some duels you go in the middle of the park, you know that if you miss this tackle, your team is going to be in danger. How you go into those tackle, not just for the ball, but with a provision
mindset.
That in case I miss the tackle, I have to obstruct this guy from moving forward. I saw him make 2 or 3 of those tackles in the midfield. I'm like, this is a very intelligent footballer because he understands danger. He understands his position on the pitch. There are sometimes Declan Rice wins the ball, has an easy pass to make forward, but sometimes he chooses to keep it for 1 second before making the pass. He has shown for me as a player. I'm watching him. I'm seeing a player that is mature, that is smart, that is strong, and that is durable. Ugumi, remember before when he was linked to Arsenal, between him and Caicedo, there was this talk to we sign Caicedo, should Arsenal sign Declan Rice? And you and I was having a conversation, and we came to the conclusion that Declan Rice should be a better option because of his experience, the way he covers the ball. His durability is another thing that is being underrated. Declan Rice goes into a game, goes into these crunchy tackles, and walks out like nothing happened. And he gets around the pitch a lot. As a matter of fact, I believe by the end of this season, Partey is going to leave Arsenal if they don't sell him by January, because I don't see this. There was a stat that came out that Partey has been available since he joined Arsenal. Only 60% of the games that Arsenal has played, which is a huge number, and he has missed so many big games. So Declan Rice for me is a very, very solid buy for Arsenal. I believe this guy might be the missing piece between Arsenal and beginning to win trophies. And again, it's going to add additional pull to Arsenal now. It's not going to be easier for Arsenal to also sign bigger players, because when you see players like this perform on big games like this, it's easier to convince other players to join the team. Before we go to United, Nicholas, let me ask you, do you think, do you notice anything new about Jesus? Because for me, like Chima was saying, maybe he doesn't know Jesus very well. We Arsenal fans have been very, very frustrated because of Jesus. Maybe before now, Jesus would have used his left foot to try to take that ball, and he will hit it on that defender, or the keeper will save it. Last season, this guy frustrated us now big time in terms of taking chances. So, Nicholas, do you have any new thoughts about Jesus? Do you think he's going to be a different player this season?
Um, I think Gabriel Jesus, we definitely missed him last year after the World Cup when he was injured because of what he brings. I was mentioning into a group chat of mine in terms of we're always debating about Eddie Nketiah or Jesus. I know what Eddie Nketiah brings. He's more of a poacher, fox in the box. You drop it anywhere in the 6 yard box, Eddie's gonna score it. But what Jesus brings, and I believe he knows that, hey, I've been injured for a while and I haven't been able to throw myself. I've left Man City for a reason, and I want to become the man, the striker for this team. What he brings that sense of false nine where he'll drop into midfield, pick up the ball, create space for Martinelli, create space for Saka. He's a he's he's active. He's always looking to go and attack the ball in terms of if we don't have possession, he's attacking. So I think I knew he always had that last season. I knew he always has it. But I think because of the injuries that slowed him down, and I believe he's probably thinking to himself, like, hey, if I don't, keep my injury record and score some goals this season, Arteta is kind of ruthless. He might dip in the market next summer and say, hey, we probably need a proper striker. So I think he's looking at it personally as, hey, I probably need to, because I think he does and he knows he always has it, but it's time to show it now. Because if he doesn't show it, Arteta might dip in the market next summer to not necessarily replace him, but to bring more competition for him.
Okay, yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Let's look at Manchester United. Chima, if you remember in our last episode, I said, I will ask the question, is it time now to begin to look at Erik ten Hag to probably show why he came to Manchester United? I know last season somehow they got the third position, they won the Carabao Cup. But when you actually look at Manchester United, when they play, you watch their game critically, it doesn't look like there's much has changed. It looked like just under Ole, at a particular time in the season, it looks like the players get themselves together and say, hey, let's give this a shot. After a while, everything goes back to how it used to be. That seems to be the situation right now. Ten Hag as a manager, sometimes I don't understand his press conferences. He calls out players who don't play well. He talks about officials. He talks about the league. He complains. He talks about anything. Yes, one can say on one side he's a confident coach. He doesn't, he's not scared to say what he wants to say. But sometimes I think he needs to focus more on his players and what they're producing on the pitch and try to improve. Do you think the Ten Hag has really, apart from getting results, has he really improved Manchester United, considering how they approach this game on Sunday?
Honestly, I don't. I think he still needs personnel. I watched the game and I watched the game. I noticed that they so much rely on the abilities of Rashford. There was something that Mourinho said about Rashford, during Mourinho days. He said that Rashford is not a player that wins you competition. You cannot like go to a competition with hope that Rashford is going to be the player that wins you that competition. I feel like Rashford, in as much as he scored the only goal that they scored, he had chances that a good striker, somebody who has confidence, I think that he will just close his eyes and shoot. there are balls, balls that, that was given to him that he probably will have one-on-one with a striker or with a defender. And, if he's not about running, he has no other options. And sometimes he will close his eyes and shoot. He feels like, okay, I should be the one that will score. Even when he knows that shooting is not
the
a better
option.
decision.
The right
Yes.
option.
Yeah. So I watched the game and I don't know, he would have, when he introduced that his new buy, that guy showed some promising. That guy showed.
Yeah, I was going to get to the positives.
Yes, so the coach, initially, I told you that it's either that the players are not buying into the coach's philosophy, or they don't have the fitness. Maybe it's either fitness, they don't have the fitness to keep up with the mindset of the coach, what the coach is introducing, his philosophy about how you want to play this season, buying Onana, or either they're not buying into it yet, or the fitness to keep up with such philosophy is not there, owing to the fact that most of the players are aging and he doesn't have like a strong bench. So that's what I think about the coach. I think that he still needs personnel, he still needs good players who can fit into what he has in mind.
Yeah. Before we continue, let's remind our viewers, if you have not subscribed, I know you're enjoying the show, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel and help us on our way to 2,000 subscribers. You guys are doing good, but we're still far away from our goal, our target for this month. Hit the subscription button, like and share this video to your contacts, and help us spread the word out there. Transit TV has come to stay. We'll bring you entertainment, we'll bring you insight to games, and we'll try to, break down games and actions to help you understand, in the minds of the players and go into the minds of the managers to try to understand what is going on in the game. So, Nicholas, let me touch base with you. As much as they are negative, if we talk about negatives today, we're not going to leave here. I also saw some positives in United. Like Chima rightly mentioned, the few minutes that Hoyland was on the pitch, it looked terrifying for me as a rival fan. I was like, if this guy is going to play like this, then United might have gotten huge value for the money they spent. Wan-bissaka, on the other side, on the other hand, I already know him as a very good defender, though he's not good going forward. For once, Martinelli was not able to dribble past him. He kept pace with Martinelli all through the game and nullified anything that came his way. United as well, though I don't agree with the part that they set up as a low block team to hit Arsenal in the counter. But they did that very well. They were very dangerous in transition as well. Looking at these 3 points, how do you think Ten Hag should maximize these 3 aspects of United, and how do you think it's going to help them going into this season?
United. To be honest, before the season started, I had United as one of the teams who I believe would challenge. To be honest, how they would move forward, I can't speak on behalf of how United will look forward. It's a team, as you've mentioned, that they look to hit you on the counter. Because even when the game started, when we were playing them on Sunday, I noticed that when they had possession of the ball deep in their half, we kind of backed off and said, hey, come on, let's play a ball. Because they were just sitting there. So they're just looking to hit on the counter. And I don't know. They have quality players at United. Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes, as you mentioned, Wan-bissaka, Eriksen, the goalkeeper, he's no slouch. Onana is a top African goalkeeper right there. But I don't know. I think once they piece it together, they'll be dangerous. But I just can't put my finger on why they're just not a decent team. Maybe it's the manager and his tactics. As you mentioned, sometimes you'll come out in the media, I see him and Sancho, they're having a little back and forth where they're saying Sancho isn't training right, and it's Sancho replied on Instagram saying, oh no, don't listen to this, don't listen to that. So they're disjointed in different ways. How they'll put it together, I don't know. I see that they still believe in Ten Hag. I think he's a decent manager as well because he did well with Ajax a few years ago. But I feel like they definitely don't need Maguire and Evans back there because we were at the bar on Sunday, and when we saw Maguire warming up, everybody was you would think Maguire was playing
The
for Arsenal
Arsenal.
the way we were cheering him on to come on. So they definitely do not need those two players because I think that messed with their psyche then. Because I've heard that when that happened in the stadium itself, in the Emirates Stadium, people were actually cheering. So as a player, can you imagine that's gonna mess with your psyche there? So for United, I don't know what they need. I feel they have the pieces. They definitely have the players. They have a manager. It's just not coming together for them. It's one of those things you can't really put your finger on why it isn't working out for them.
Yeah, Chima, before Ethan Hag signed for United, I think it was Louis van Gaal that told him not to take that job, that United is not a football club.
Mm.
So do you think there are deeper issues in United that miss the eye? And what do you think are these issues?
Well, you definitely know that there are deeper issues in United when you discover the way Mourinho left. A lot of coaches have come and gone. You know, there are issues in not only United, in most of the Premiership teams. It is maybe an English thing, but I honestly feel like Nick said, they have qualities that can give them results. It's either that the players are not yet buying into the coach's tactics, his philosophy, or maybe fitness. I look at their midfield. Ericsson is an old player. He's old. Casemiro is old. Those two midfielders might not necessarily be able to keep up with the fast pace of Premiership as it evolves in today's.
But Chima, sorry to cut you short. Eriksen Ten Hag signed in the last 1 year 7 of the starting players in United today. So if that was the issue, why didn't he get the right personnel?
Honestly, like I said again, they have qualities. These personnel that he signed are quality players. They are qualities. You cannot. Who is not a very good player there? But sometimes it's about tactics. It's about philosophy. Maybe that philosophy is not. They are not fit. They don't have the fitness to match up with that. Because if you watch the philosophy, where the keeper is more or less like the last man.
Sweeper, yeah.
Yes, the sweeper, and he pushes the defenders forward. Anytime your team lose the ball, you are running back. It's like playing basketball. You are always going forward and coming back, going forward and coming back. If you don't have that fitness, you might not be able to keep up. That's what I think.
Yeah, but the issue is, I see, when the team is winning, you say the coach is magical. So when they are losing too or they're not winning, you also have to look at the coach. I tend to have issue with Ten Hag right now. Like against Arsenal played 12 corners, and most of the time, United set up marking Zono, and they had issue picking an Arsenal player at the back. Arsenal used almost the same style. If that goal that the Declan scored, if you go and watch the game back, they had that opportunity like 2 or 3 times. And United, starting from the first half of the game, United never fixed that problem until he cost them that goal. So this is where coaching comes in. And sometimes Ten Hag is a good coach. Let me not say might be a good coach. He's a good coach. But like both of the 3 of us have agreed, it looks like there are deeper issues. And if you look at him these days, he looks like a disgruntled individual. It seems to look like maybe there are some players who don't listen to him, and somehow they are untouchable. Let's not forget that Rashford has a contract on the table and he has not signed his contract yet. Rashford, as of today, is a very important player for United, and he has not signed a new contract. So
You see, on a more serious note, I don't consider Rashford a top player now.
No, he's not
If
a top player, but it's
yeah.
very important for United. You know, there are two things for you to be a top player, but in your team, are you just like Declan Rice? Declan Rice in West Ham was all that West Ham had as at that time before they brought in these two new players. So as a last season, Rashford was key to United being in Champions League this season, and they've given him a new contract. I think he had less than 2 years. This is he's gone into the second last year of his contract. If he doesn't sign until the end of the season, he's going to go into the last year of his contract, and his possibility of losing him for free is turning the eye for United. So it's very important that he signs that contract, and there's no even talk about that right now. So it's possible there are things that are not going well behind the scene, and I think anything hard, the earlier he tries to get these things sorted out and move. There has been talk about takeover, but I know those things can be distracting. But I mean, sometimes you have to understand, be real with what is real. Right now, the people that own United are the people that own United, and these are the people that signed Eric Ten Hag. So go to them, talk with them. There must have been a plan before he signed he came into United. I think he needs to probably roll his sleeves and look for other ways because as big as last season, he got results. They made third place. People were all about the result. But right now, there is need for him to establish a philosophy for you. That's the same thing we said about Newcastle, Chelsea, and other teams. Other big teams in England, Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, the people you're competing with, they have managed to establish a philosophy and the way they are playing and they're getting results with it. This is your second year in the league. I don't think he's going to have more excuses this time around. He needs to set up and get United playing in certain type of way, imposing their game on at least the other team from Arsenal, Liverpool, and City. I don't know if you agree with me.
Yeah, well, I agree with you 100%. But let me, let's not, because I don't want this section to finish without me speaking as a Chelsea fan.
Okay.
If you want me to speak honestly of what I think about that game yesterday, I felt like United was robbed.
Okay.
I honestly felt like United was robbed in that game. Is that goal an offside? It's not. I don't know how they drew that line.
Well, for me, I'm with you. My first take on it was that it wasn't an offside, but I felt that the reason why the offside was given was because of the penalty that was Arsenal was denied of. You can say it was a soft penalty, but if Wan-bissaka and I don't know who else did not try to stifle Kai Havertz, it was clean on goal, and there was
on
a
more
contact.
serious note again.
So sometimes this,
because if I finish speaking on today's episode and Chelsea fans, because I post this in our forum, and I know the discussion we had in our forum. If I finish speaking on this episode today and I don't speak the truth that we in the Chelsea forum agreed was the truth, then I'm not doing justice. The truth is that wasn't a penalty. I looked at it. He anticipated that they're gonna close him up. He now dived. We'll watch it again, because I'm fair when I discuss these things. It was his anticipation that they're gonna tag team him. He now bought it, not knowing that Wan-bissaka is pulling out. He bought it. He thought he already sold it to them, and he bought it. It wasn't a penalty. And is that a goal? It's a pure goal. And that's what I was telling Ogum the other time. If that goal had stood and Arsenal loses, Arsenal fans will chew Kai Havertz. And that's the truth.
yeah,
and
definitely.
when the chewing starts, it will cause problem in the dressing room. And whenever it causes problem in the dressing room, that the coach is favoring him because of how much he bought him, when he is not the best option they have a better options. Players, the satisfaction will start, coming into the dressing room. And whenever there's this kind of dissatisfaction, things will, all hells will let loose. So,
well, I hear you.
Arsenal gained a privilege. I will call it a boardroom decision that gave them that match.
Nicholas, you have anything to say to that before we close?
I think it was offside. I did see the lines, but we'll agree to disagree there. But they always say some of these calls they balance themselves out during the season. So if this is a call that went our way, well, who knows? Maybe a call the next game or two, it may not go our way. So we'll just take it. We take the 3 points, and we have international break, and then we go again with versus Everton.
Yeah, I remember I always said this. There's this guy and girl. He used to play for Aston Villa. There was one time he was interviewed, and he said the truth about football is that there's no truth in football. When you do well today, everybody say you're the best. Tomorrow you make a mistake, you're the worst. Chima, like what you are saying, in the balance of play, watching that game from beginning to the end, the United didn't deserve to win the game. And like you are saying, if they manage to score, maybe that goal has stood and they won 2-1, everybody will forget all these good things and this problem we're talking about United today. And they say United, they always know how to win Arsenal. And that will be the talk of the day. Nobody will realize the good job that Odegaard did, that Zinchenko did, Rice did. The talk will be United, they always beat Arsenal. They always win Arsenal. So sometimes, like I said in the beginning of the show, football is a very beautiful game. What makes it beautiful is it has different dimensions. You can look at one action in 200 different ways, and almost everybody will be correct. So we make our opinions. The time it looks good at you when probably the way you see it continues to come to the results that you expect it to be, then people will say, okay, yeah, better than others. But end of the day, what makes it beautiful is that we all have opinions, and we what we come do on this show is drop them out there. No hard feelings. Sometimes emotions are high, just like during the game as well. I remember Nicholas, I was watching the game with him in the first 15, 20 minutes. He was like, I need emotion. I need emotion in this game. This is an emotional game. Eventually those emotions came. Arsenal woke up. It looks like after United took the lead, the Arsenal players realized that there was fire on the mountain, and from then they never looked back. So, guys, thank you for coming to the show. Our viewers, don't forget to like and share this video. Subscribe if you have not done so. I hope you have enjoyed the show. This week we don't know yet, that Thursday or Friday, we're going to have a big episode to look at the big six teams in EPL, how they have fared in these first 4 games of the season. The transfer window has shut now. Every team knows their squad. So we're going to analyze, deeper, different of each of these 6 teams: Arsenal, Manchester City, Manchester United, Liverpool, Chelsea, and Tottenham. We're going to have a deeper, spend time on each of these teams, and that episode should be aired by Saturday or Sunday, since this weekend is a international window. Use it to keep our viewers busy. So look out for that episode. That show is going to be on the channel, and let us know what you think. Like I always say, get busy in the comment section and let us know what you think about our opinions in these games and actions, the managers and the issues arising on these teams. We'll look deeper into them as the week progresses and keep you busy for the international weekend. And we hope you have enjoyed the show. Thank you, and bye for now. Peace out, guys.
Bye-bye.
All right, see you. Bye.